Hey everyone, welcome to Zelda Speedruns. Today we have Game 4 of the Z2R Standard Tournament Nibiru Invitational Finals. This is Jkoper versus ta909. Tracking today we have VT Slacker. On commentary we have Sonny Wrath and Elendar, and they will take it from here.
Good evening, everybody. Time for Game 4. Definitely the only time that Game 4 has happened.
I mean, that's what I heard.
For people who didn't watch, there was a technical issue in a close race yesterday, and the runners decided to just do a redo on Game 4. So here we're at it. Jkoper won the first game in this match, but is down 2-1 in this best of 5. So he is going to need to get a win here if he wants to keep it going.
Yeah, so Jkoper ended up taking game 1, and then ta909 responded by taking games 2 and 3. Now we are into game 4 of the set, and considering how these two have been playing and that it is the finals after all, we're going to see some amazing gameplay from both of these fine folks.
Yeah, and these races have been close. That's one thing that's been true. I didn't see game 3, but I saw 1, 2, and at game 4 alpha. And they've all been very close games, similar routing, tight gameplay, and I would be shocked if this race didn't end up being a close one all the way down to GP.
As would I. I mean, ta909 came in to this most recent upstarts and ended up taking second place, and now is in the NIT looking at potentially winning it, which is just a testament to how much he's improved.
Yeah, I mean, ta909 is no stranger to winning tournaments. I believe he is still the rating standard champion for Z1R.
I think you're right.
So he's a very, very skilled randomizer player, and of course Jkoper, a skilled randomizer player of basically every randomizer known to man.
Yeah, you can say that again. And 200-point P-Bag immediately found by both Jkoper and TA here. And Medicine Cave for both of them. TA deciding to go up to life 3, where Jkoper ended up going attack 2 instead.
Yeah, and this is a rough Medicine Cave. Fighting 2 Dairas at the same time, one of which are is a red Daira, is challenging enough, but with mixed generators, a bunch of Bagos flying at you. I guess it's just Bagos with spinning rocks, but it's a tough screen. He did manage to isolate the orange Daira, and it was 200 points, So
he actually got both the orange and the red there and got a grand total of 350 from it.
Jkoper got a hint the trophy is in a maze. Didn't see what the spell was, but I'm sure we'll see shortly when T goes into that town. Given that Jkoper went in there and got the hint for it, I can almost guarantee it's one of the required spells.
Yeah, and also we do see that Link Dolls are in the small enemy pool, and that's actually going to save TA from taking a game over here. Yeah,
and game over a little bit costly just because the only thing you could do at start red Dairas in this dark cave. If you're a newer runner and you're learning dark caves for the first time, it's a thing that you definitely get way better at with practice in this specific circumstance of learning the timings and whatnot.
Yeah, it's huge to practice it, whether you're coming into standard or, like Elendar said, Max Rando. Magic Jar in Magic Jar Cave and a Magic Jar in Trophy Cave, so 2 Magic Jars already located.
Yeah, and ta909 took a while to get through that Medicine Cave, but he came out with a lot of experience. 3-1-4 to finish it.
Yeah, I found a 500-point bag from the small drops. As Jkoper finds Heart Container Cave here. Time to see what resides within it.
The answer is 500-point P bags.
I mean, a 500-point bag is always a welcome sight.
Yeah, and we'll see in the previous race, Jkoper did a really well executed XP slingshot where he got to 434 and then just took attack level, and then got his other levels up, ended up like 7, 7, 8 by the end.
Yeah.
So we'll see with these 500 bags in the pool whether he also decides to do a similar strategy here. And man, I missed the spell for... Okay, TA has it marked on his tracker. This is Thunder. So
absolutely necessary. And we see that Mito is Reflect Town this time around. So that will be required just to defeat Karok.
Jkoper holding off on getting the hint. This makes sense. He wants to see if he can get a jump or fairy spell prior to going in there so he can get down stab and only have to dig it once.
All right. TA at 324 right now. Jkoper working on making it through this Pillar P-Bag Cave.
Yeah, there was one of those annoying like snakes coming out of the ground earlier that took just enough life off of him.
Good old Geldarms.
So
okay.
Plenty of early magic.
So the item, one of the items in New Kasuto, the basement specifically, will not be a problem, as there are 3 extra jars already available.
Yeah, I'm sure our runners would rather have heart containers at this point.
I'd imagine that you're right.
Yeah, heart containers not allowed. Okay, so Jkoper going back sees that there isn't any kind of... Okay, not even going to go through and get the hint. He was just going in to get the life refill. Makes sense.
Hey, when you got to get those refills, you got to get those refills.
Yeah, I mean, this mountainous in general, and especially this mountainous, just... the cost of taking a game over is high, and he's determined he just would rather play it safe and not have to do that.
Another P-Bag here, and it's only 100 points, but it's going to be enough to get Jkoper up to life 4, so levels are equal right now between the runners. Jkoper just has a slight exploration advantage.
Yeah, the only potential issue would be if that 7th magic container ends up being important, that he didn't get in Medicine Cave and likely won't be back to for a while. Probably not going to be important, especially since there's an any key right there.
That's a big find. That puts Palaces somewhat into logic. We'll say halfway.
Yeah, I mean, they're in logic, but also, where are they?
Exactly, as we've only seen one palace, I believe, which is P1.
Okay, Jkoper finds Saria, and immediately before finding Saria finds Bagu, and it definitely looks like the connection goes across, but there might be a way around here.
All right, Jkoper coming in to Rauru.
Yeah, Jkoper
checking the hints.
Did not check the town sign. He's just going to grab this spell, regardless of what it is. Makes sense. When you have this much magic, you want to have something to do with it.
I mean, it could always be a vanilla shield. There we go.
Shield would be good. Honestly, the only thing here that would be kind of lame is spell, and still you wouldn't be upset about it. Yeah, fire spell's fine.
I was about to say, how about fire?
It's castable. Okay, it's not jump, it's not fairy.
It's not shield.
Horsehead Naze with a magic jar. Okay.
So all the jars are over here on the west this time around.
Nothing in King's Tomb. Our runners sort of converging with each other, but T still hasn't found that magical key, and Jkoper is going to go over to the far side of Saria.
Time to see what spell is in here.
Yeah,
And
once again,
be-
just not checking the sign. It makes sense. It saves a couple seconds, and if you're going to get it no matter what, then...
Yeah, I do agree with it.
Yeah,
And
if it's a town where you like wouldn't go in unless it's something good, but I think he's gonna be perfectly shield spell here. He's gonna be perfectly happy, just picking this up on the way.
I was about to say, speaking of something good, shield, always a fantastic spell to pick up, can be quite useful when going up against Thunderbird or pretty much any boss that isn't our first three.
Yeah, shield spell is especially great because experienced runners will tell you shield spell makes you invincible. If you don't cast it, you will get hit a whole bunch and die. If you do cast it, you'll play the room perfectly and never get hit.
Exactly.
And you might say, well, every time I cast shield, I do the room perfectly and don't get hit, so the shield spell did nothing. No, the shield spell made you invincible.
That's so true. All right, up an A for Jkoper as the other side of Saria led to absolutely nothing.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. So now the question is, where do we go from here? Where is progression?
It's a
Gotta be
fantastic
somewhere.
question. I mean,
You
TA
can't
has-
get down to the coast here.
Maybe
Mountainous
you
can-
continue left?
Yeah, Mountainous could definitely hide some things on coasts easily that could require our runners to get boots.
That's true, but they have to find a connector to be able to leave here first before they can get boots, unless boots happen to be in one of the palaces.
Yeah. But we haven't seen any kind of a way off, even a way off that could be blocked by something, so it's gonna be hiding somewhere as Jkoper is picking up his 7th container.
Yeah, Jkoper looking really good now on Magic, caught up to TA in that, but now it's just a matter of how do we get off the west?
Okay. This is just Parappa Cave for Jkoper. We haven't seen, I don't think we've seen Fairy Cave or Jump Cave.
So Ferry and Jumper over here by where TA is at.
Okay. But we
And-
don't have Fairy or Jump. Was it the top or the bottom side of Fairy?
It was the top, it was not the drop.
Okay, so that is a way we could go.
TA gonna jump into P1 here.
Yeah, why not? You gotta do it eventually, and you're here. 335 gonna be absolutely no problem for clearing this dungeon.
And with the magic key, it just makes it that much easier. You don't have to worry about keys. You don't have to worry about potentially having fairy. The only thing you have any slight worries about would be a glove block.
So Jkoper finding Palace 2, he's just gonna do this. Again, makes sense. Palace 2, a middling length palace. I say immediately before it is free.
I was about to say middling length. It looks kind of free to me.
This was in yesterday's race. One of the things that made a big difference is that Jkoper got a whole bunch of levels and a big level advantage over TA, but 3 out of 6 palaces were free, and so the levels didn't do anything.
Yeah, and now this palace is absolutely free, which Could be a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, and Jkoper gonna hold off on taking that level. He wants to get attack 4. Sounds like a good strategy. He's got all the magic in the world. He does not need another magic level.
And he'll get attack 4 right here as TA takes down Horsehead. Gonna have that first palace done not long after Jkoper went in and just killed Helmet Head.
So it definitely looks like if we've seen the accessible side of Fairy Cave, it definitely seems like it could be our progression here. I don't think we've seen anything else that could possibly be progression.
I don't think we have, and it looks like TA is going to check out the hint here in Mito for that reflect spell. Jkoper.
Okay, Jkoper found the far side of Jump Cave, so we've seen both ends of Jump Cave now.
And that other cave, I believe, is the far end.
And there it is. That is the raft tile, so that's our way off.
Indeed.
And shoutouts to our raiders coming over from Mirai's channel. It's been a pretty decent one so far. We had some quick palaces in 1 and 2. Jkoper just got our confirmation that the only way off this continent is the raft. He didn't find the item in 2, so it looks like he's going to go back for that. The item in 1, we already know, Magic Jar, not going to be picked up.
Yes, and TA coming in to Palace 2. Gonna get a quick Helmet Head fight here. And there he goes. Jkoper gonna search for the item. Question now becomes, how far into this palace will that item be?
Yeah, given how quick the boss was, it really could be anywhere.
Alright, TA coming into this 3-6. And, oh, that's a glove fairy block for Jkoper. A little unfortunate to see, but when it happens, it happens. And P2 is not looking too hot for the answer.
Yep. TA gonna try this 3 or 6 instead. And so's Jkoper.
Alright, so they're both in the same palace. TA with the 1 crystal lead.
Yeah, Jkoper does have the advantage of information. He knows both that the raft is required and where the raft is required. So he absolutely will not be leaving this palace without the item unless it too turns out to be glove blocked. Although there has to be an accessible item. The raft has to be somewhere. We can't be stuck.
No, we cannot, and it looks like TA continued up top, and Jkoper has taken the elevator down, so we do have a little bit of divergence between where the two runners are going. And
Jkoper getting confirmation divergence is going to continue, because this is 6. We talked about P2 being medium-ish, P1 being short, 6, the second longest palace on average.
Absolutely, and
I think it's half a room longer on average than 5. It gets complicated. 5 and 6 are weird, but
yeah, 5 and 6 are very weird.
The 5 and 6 are long, but also if the room counts run up against the limit of 63 rooms per group, 5 and 6 are where they get taken from. And so 6 tends to be a little bit shorter than you would expect just because 3 and 4 are on average longer than 1 and 2. And so 6 is more likely to get rooms eaten as a result of there just being too many rooms.
Absolutely, and we did see a high 5 from Jkoper and TA.
It's not what you want to see for either runner. When you see a high 5, that generally means you're both on the wrong track.
And TA just realized that he looped, so he's probably going to head down the elevator and go left.
Which is probably our best bet at this point, as Jkoper is also going to be ending up in the same spot to go left.
P6 loops. My favorite.
Yeah, what's weird about that loop is it kind of almost made sense in terms of the room counts and the directions you were going coming back. It got me for a second because my brain has been broken by sand palaces. We'll see what Jkoper, is he going right or left? Also right.
Taking out the iron knuckle first, and TA making a beautiful neutral jump over the blue iron knuckle, keeping it still so that way he can make it over.
Yeah, and Jkoper was a little bit behind coming into this palace and has pretty much evened it up, I say, as he takes a death to uneven it. Oh man, this is a drop room?
This is a drop room. And nice 4-tile jump there from TA.
See if Jkoper makes the jump or decides not to make the jump. It's very reasonable. We haven't seen a drop exit, so...
We have seen one landing room. Because in that loop that Jkoper and TA had, there was a landing room, and this was exactly it.
Oh, right. I remember this room now, yeah. Well, that's unfortunate, because TA has found the item room. Is this the item room? This is the fake item. This is the one that looks like it's an item room, and it's not. So, Jkoper gonna have to backtrack a bit, maybe take a different way.
PA run into the back of this room, gonna find out it's a magic jar, and immediately up and A.
I'm kind of surprised to see him up A. Maybe he was just on his last life or something, because the best way to go as far as forks for him would have been just a hold left from where he was.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised by it too, but it looks like he's going to hold left from start and see what lies over here.
Yeah, that's reasonable. And again, I don't know what his lives were like, right? If you're on your last life, then it makes a lot more sense to just get the lives refill and just try a different path. But Jkoper is back at that left I was talking about before, and he is going to take it.
I like this.
Yeah, one of these paths is probably correct.
Here's the item room for TA.
Or they're both correct, and what is the boss and what is the item? Is this our raft? Yes.
It is. So there's the raft to get off of the west for TA. Jkoper, though, soon to be facing off against the dragon.
Yeah, and he's gonna up A back in here once he beats it, and then the only place he has left to go is the place where the item is, so he should have his raft in not too much time either.
Yeah, it's just going to take TA a little while to get to Barba, as this Barba, she looks like she rolled up in health.
Yeah, attack, some combination of Barbara rolling up and attack 4 being kind of meh. Means this is going to take a bit, but it's going to take a bit for both of them because very unlikely TA is going to have attack 5 by the time he gets here.
Yeah, I don't see TA making it to attack 5.
Jkoper being conservative, it makes sense when you got a long fight and a trip into the lava can really kill you. Doing a good job getting 4 or 5 hits on the easy cycles and 2 and 3 on the hard ones. You gotta go across the pit, and yep, slowing down. You want to be real careful. When he's low in health, don't go into the lava. Well executed by Jkoper.
And now it's TA's turn. Good 6 hits there off the start.
Yeah, if you time it right, you can get 3 hits as the head is going down, just because his hitbox is wonky. And Jkoper's backtracking Is there a path that I forgot about back here?
He hasn't checked the right of the fork.
Oh, okay. That's right, that was that dead end. Okay, I mean, this makes sense for him, but it is a little unfortunate because it's going to be... I mean, he is definitely going to be 100%ing this palace.
Yeah, it's going to be a full clear 6, which feels bad. And TA, no problems against Barba, going to get the kill and grab the 1,100 points in total.
Yeah, unfortunately, 1,100 points, basically 0 points.
Yeah, in this instance. But it is at least Magic 5. Jkoper, unfortunately, missing the jump.
Yeah, and I think if you miss that jump, you just stop A and take the left at the start.
I would agree. And TA back over close to the raft tile. Jkoper knows where it's at. TA does not. But TA has the raft where Jkoper doesn't.
And there aren't that many places for it to be, right? With how much he'd explored. He hasn't seen that raft tile yet, but he's got to know it's going to be on this east coast. He doesn't know exactly where, but he has checked all of the other places, so.
Exactly. Nice 500 point drop for TA there, making excellent use of the fire spell, which is connected to life, and I believe it is 2 bars on the nose.
That is twice as much as it was last race.
Yeah, anytime you see life as 1 bar, you're just like, oh, come on. And the raft leads to the maze tonight.
Nice. We know that there's a required spell item here in the maze, so no shock that TA is immediately hunting for it.
Jkoper, unfortunately, gonna hit this dead end and then be like, oh, well, crap. And there's the
trophy we knew what. Yeah, we knew that trophy was going to be there. That's going to get him Thunder eventually.
It's just a question of when he decides to go back and grab it. And here's 3.
He's not interested, wants to find the second item here first.
Can't really blame him.
No, he's just checking immediately around. He doesn't want to walk too far from the palace. This makes sense, partially because, you have to do the palace eventually, but partially because you know that progression has to continue from this maze. There wasn't anywhere else on the west to be progression, so he's going to have to find some sort of cave or bridge leading off this maze. So you want to grab everything while you're here and not have to backtrack.
And if the boots are here, that'll help with that. Alright, Jkoper up in A's. He is heading to get that raft, but I believe this is a wrong turn.
I think this is the way he needs to go. Yeah. He's on the right track. Oh, no, I'm wrong. It was one of these last. They all look the same. Who's ahead right now? It's TA definitely has the advantage. Unfortunately, Jkoper has kind of spent as much time as you could possibly spend in the 6. Just not bad routing, just unfortunate routing, and gonna 100% it here. And TA had a little bit cleaner overworld exploration, so he is off already. TA is cleared 1 and Jkoper hasn't, but P1 is a nothing palace. It was like a minute long or something like that. So not gonna be too much of a disadvantage for Jkoper, but this 6 is definitely adding up.
Yeah, and I have a feeling that Jkoper will end up coming back just to clear 1 when he's ready to pick up Thunder.
Yeah, definitely don't want to do it before then. if you have to pick up Thunder anyway, one's just kind of on your way, doesn't lose you much.
All right, there is the raft for Jkoper finally, and he is ready to proceed off to this maze island. TA looking for the item in here, hasn't run into any glove blocks, so that is a good thing. Getting beat up a bit though by the enemy set here.
Yeah, Doom Knockers in those narrow passageways can be annoying. If you have a reflect spell, it can definitely make it a lot easier, but it doesn't have that option.
Yeah, and lack of downstab does not help with it either.
What does help is what he's doing now, which is just shield spell and plow through the enemies. Life 6, even at 4 bars with shield spell, you're going to be okay.
Oh, absolutely. And just like that, Jkoper has found his first item on the maze.
Alright, here's going to be the item for TA. Let's see if it's anything valuable.
If it's glove, this is going to put TA in a really good position.
Holy crap! Psychic! You're a witch!
Hey, round 1 Swiss, I called half the pairings, so... There's something to be said about that.
Okay, well, the glove was probably the best item you could get there. You'd be pretty happy finding boots, or like even like a child. You like a child, you're pretty happy. But the glove required, I don't know, 99% of the time in these flags, maybe a little higher.
No, I think 99 is pretty accurate.
Yeah, it is possible that you don't see any glove blocks. In normal palaces, there aren't that many glove blocks. In GP, there are just so many glove blocks.
So many waffle rooms, the emoji rooms, and
even the rooms you don't think of, right? Like the up stab rooms and down stab rooms. Like,
yeah,
you need up or down stab for those rooms, but you also need glove.
The snake.
Yeah, there's all sorts of rooms in GP that need you to have the glove. And so they're required not 100% of the time, but very close. Jkoper has found that the way off the maze is into Death Mountain. Man, the only way to get to the east is a required linear trip through every continent.
That's fun.
And the worst thing is that you're probably gonna end up doing it twice because you have to go back and get Thunder at some point.
You also have to go back and get Reflect.
Okay.
And there it is.
The kindest mountain in a long time.
Holy moly, that DM was super kind.
That could have been way, way worse.
Absolutely, and Jkoper is going to check all of the locations here that he has access to. Life in Naburu, which is unnecessary. Spelltown is Spelltown.
It happens 1/8 of the time. It happens every time.
Eldar, I thought this was supposed to be randomized. Oh, wait.
That was a container in the basement.
Yeah, I mean, the other magic container's over in P1. So, finding a heart container at this point is rather nice. Oh, TA taking a hit from the Moblin and just fallen into the lava. Gonna have to play it safe here. He does have a fairly comfortable lead, though.
Yeah, it's gonna be tricky for Jkoper to find an edge to come back here, because the things that would typically give you that edge, ta909 has already found.
Yeah, I agree. And another heart container residing within the spell tower, putting Jkoper up to 6 hearts.
They're not terrible, but they're not progression items. What Jkoper's gonna need here is for something else to be required and in a weird spot. The child is the most likely thing at this point. But we know where the child is now. The child is in P2, which was glove blocked.
Yeah, it was glove fairy blocked, and well,
yeah,
we know fairy is there, so it is a full-on glove block.
Yeah. So, man, and that's just another thing you're gonna. If you routed this seed poorly, you could have to go back and forth between west and east like 3 times. That would be miserable. I don't think we're gonna see that from these runners. Almost certainly, they're gonna do everything they can to make the next trip they make back to the west the only trip.
Yeah, and it looks like that the desert tile, the raft tile, or not raft tile, the desert tile, the water tile, and the 2 item caves are going to be on the other side of this volcano, most likely.
And Jkoper's looking like that's where he wants to go.
Yeah, this is probably going to take a couple encounter skips to get through, but depending upon what those lava encounters end up being, that really won't be too bad.
That was not the entrance to the volcano. That was a dead end.
Right.
I think this east is segmented.
That could be the case.
I think this is a segmented east, and there's a different connector in DM that leads to the other half of it. Wow, what an overworld.
Here's Sunken for Jkoper. Time to see what resides within here, as TA is dealing with lag generator the room.
Yeah, the Goomas are very laggy. Anything that spawns projectiles just causes a whole lot of lags. It starts to have to track too many things.
Oh, the Blue Lizalfos are really, really good at 500. And there's the hammer for Jkoper.
Okay, that makes the possibility of a trip back into DM less painful.
And TA is going to press on through 5. Doesn't have jump. Doesn't have fairy, so if he runs into any of the Eco-Key / Eco-Moa rooms, that's going to be a problem. Dead end immediately there.
Yeah, but what TA does have was the most important thing for going into P5, which is attack 5 or greater.
Oh, absolutely. We've seen many low attack attempts on Guma throughout this tournament. Some of them successful, some of them not so much.
Invisible wall room. It's a very silly room, but it's in vanilla.
Yep, and it goes into the item room, which has the medicine. That's going to be the reflect spell. I have a feeling that after this palace, TA is going to up an A, go grab Thunder, go grab Reflect, come back over here. Maybe grab the child as well.
Everything is coming up TA. Just
all he needs to do is find Guma, and he's golden.
yeah, he can up A, do everything he needs to, and is re-clear of the west, and then he just needs to find that second segment. Assuming it is segmented, I might have been okay. No. It's not. You don't have to go through DM again. Although it looks like you probably could. There was just a different entrance to the maze, or into the volcano that Jkoper has found.
And it looks like the encounters here are, of course, lava encounters, your normal stuff. So we'll just have to see how everything goes. We need to find out if that volcano does go all the way through it, like VT said. And that's where the question ultimately lies.
It might not. The problem is that this palace, I believe, if I'm keeping track, is either P4 or GP, neither of which Jkoper can do.
Correct.
P5 looks to me maybe glove blocked. Certainly glove blocked on the path TA is taking.
And it's GP in the Valley of Death. Dead end for TA here. Gonna head down the elevator and probably head right if I had to guess.
But Jkoper is going to continue on exploring the southern end. One thing that's nice, if it is true that the second cave is also from DM to the south side, which it looks like it is, it's way better if you can find that cave when you're already on the south side. Because then you can just pop into DM and be like, ah, there it is. Now if I need to come back, I don't have to explore all of DM. I can just take the shortcut that I know about.
There are some invisible Moas saying hello to Jkoper there.
Boy, Moas.
And TA soon to have life 7. Might actually be able to pull a double level here out of 5.
Don't know if Jkoper got the sideways press in time here.
Yeah, I'm curious about that myself.
You have to clear the encounter out either way. Nope, didn't get it. You're gonna have to try again for the encounter skip. Man, these enemies are not cooperating.
Yeah, sometimes the RNG just ends up doing that, and it's frustrating.
Yeah, one thing you can do is you can try to pause buffer to make it a little bit easier to hit these. It doesn't always make it easier. It's one of those things that you can get trolled no matter what, but different people have different approaches to setting up encounter skips. And yeah, that is a Nuka pseudo tile. Okay, there. That's useful for Jkoper. He knows where that second connector is. He knows what it looks like. The Nuka pseudo tile contains nothing.
And TA still on that hunt for a Guma, as Jkoper is soon to pick up jump here.
It has to feel bad being 42 minutes into the seed and having just no major spells. This is a fun one. That room that TA was in is fairy or glove, but technically, and I believe the logic is correct on this, just fairy or glove is not enough. If you only have glove and you don't have fairy and you are moving through the room in that direction, you need to have either up stab or down stab, or I think you could jump spell clip that block. But ta909 has none of those.
Yeah, he would have had to do a block clip in order to, or a slash clip in order to make it through to break that block. And
I'm not
TA
sure if
is going to head back.
I'm not sure if you could do that one without. I know you definitely do that with jump. I'm not sure if you could do it without. But yeah, I mean, Tia needed to go back and do this anyway. He's not gonna. I guess he is gonna be punished. I was gonna say he has everything he can need to get the last of the stuff he needs in the West, but he doesn't have jump or fairy. doing this way has committed him to not getting downstab. Which kind of sucks.
Yeah, that does suck a little bit. But at least Thunder's going to be picked up, Reflect's going to be picked up. Even though Jump will be picked up later, with Jkoper finding literally everything else other than what he's looking for.
Yeah. He's gonna toot away at this three-eyed rock. Find nothing. Just a forest encounter.
The moment that feels kind of bad.
Yeah, I mean, he wanted to do these overworld checks before doing palaces, almost certainly because he doesn't have a glove, right? He's worried. He's already seen one glove blocked item. He's worried about, you know, how many other of these palaces are going to need the glove, and unfortunately for him, all of the important items are hanging out in palaces.
So we may see TA end up grabbing the child, doubling back, coming to pick up down stab.
Yeah, he could do it. I mean, if he wants to double back, he can do it. It sucks, but down stab is really good, so I wouldn't blame him for doing it.
Oh, same. He's going to go ahead and pick up Reflect while he's here. As Jkoper is crossing the caldera of Death Mountain.
Yeah, I'm a little curious what the shape of this Death Mountain is. Because, right, it could... If the other connector is on the east side of the caldera, that would mean that he's already seen Spec Rock is right next to that, so...
Well, both connectors are over on the west side, I believe. He's looking for Hammer Cave at this point.
Nope, there's Spec Rock there.
Oh, nope, there's Spec Rock.
And Hammer Cave. He must not have seen that Spec Rock. It was like all the way up in the corner of his screen. Oh man, this sucks. You absolutely wanted to Spec Rock before Hammer Cave. He just didn't see it. And that means that he's gonna have to walk out. And nobody wants to walk out.
No. Nobody does want to walk out of Death Mountain. Even if they absolutely have to. It's
just a lot of screens.
Yeah, it feels bad. Alright, TA gonna head into P2 to pick up this item.
Yeah, well, we knew this, we got the hint for this, right? This was,
This is the child.
This is the child, yeah, which we need, so...
And it was behind this glove fairy block.
So I guess if you want to get down stab, you're required to triple dip the west no matter what. Oh man, that's cruel.
Yeah, this is mean.
See how quickly ta909 can make this jump that ta909 is trying to do is way trickier than it seems.
Yeah,
he makes it look easy.
It's deceptively hard.
Yeah, you have to just get enough momentum to get up. I mean, if you have jump spell, it's very easy, but...
Yeah. But that's if you have jump. Without jump, it's deceptively hard.
It's all about... You need to make sure that you are maintaining enough of your momentum to get back up the ledge.
Absolutely, and Golden Girl is a quick recap. Jkoper has full cleared the east and picked up pretty much everything you see over there.
Yeah, unfortunately, the things that he did not get was the medicine and the glove, two critically important items that are in the palaces that ta909 did instead.
Yes, the glove is in 3 and the medicine in 5.
TA did get a lot of items, unfortunately, not the items that he wants. And man, he up-A'd to go back west. It makes sense. There's not really another good way out of the mountain, but he is not going to be able to get... he'll be able to get Thunder, but not Reflect. And he won't be able to get this Medicine from 2. So he won't be able to get Fairy. He's going to be back here multiple times.
Yeah, but what he will be able to get that TA doesn't have is Downstab.
Hey, Downstab's real good. It is always a nice thing to have.
And TA has found the item room in 2, gonna pick up that child, and just like that, he's out of there. Gonna head back over to the east, pick up Fairy. I'm not sure if we're gonna see him come back over here to the west. I have a feeling we will, but
I've
been wrong in the past.
It depends. It's a little bit gambly to not get Downstab. There are a number of rooms in GP that require it, but it's such an out of the way trip.
Yeah, and that's going to be the question at this point. Yeah, Downstab, fairly often it's required. But the nice thing about Downstab is just being able to bounce on literally everything.
Yeah, it makes things a lot easier, and in a lot of cases makes things a lot faster. Jackhammering is just inherently busted.
I mean, the only boss that TA has left that he could truly execute a jackhammer on at this point is Guma, and Guma jackhammer's quite difficult.
Yeah, but even outside of bosses, right? Just you find Iron Knuckles or
oh yeah,
various enemies
you
you get a couple. Even if you're not trying to kill it, it's pretty easy to like just as you're coming over a thing, whack it 3 or 4 times with some quick presses.
Oh, absolutely, and TA
getting bonked
again. Little unfortunate, but that's 3-0 to that Moblin.
I mean, eventually you'll remember it's there, but or not. I just die to it every time. Like,
so that Moblin right now is definitely winning over TA by a good margin.
yeah, unfortunately, getting 1 kill per continue doesn't actually do anything.
That's true. But then the question becomes, how much XP would Leak be worth for the enemies? Okay, Jkoper into 3. This is where his glove is. He's going to need to go through here. But man, this is going to feel bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of a classic question in Z2, right? Do you do the overworld first and risk grabbing a bunch of stuff you didn't need to grab? Or do you do palaces first and risk not being able to complete the palace because you don't have some required fairy or glove or something like that? And in this case, Jkoper chose overworld, TA chose palaces, and palaces absolutely paid off.
Yeah, as TA is looking much, much better now. Has picked up upstab, has fairy, is going to head back into 5 here. Going to take the up A to refill resources, and this should be a pretty quick 5 now for TA as long as he remembers where he hasn't been.
Worth noting that he did not go back to get down stab, and so we almost certainly will not see him get down stab the seed unless he goes into GP, finds out downstab is required, and then loses a bunch of time, which is a thing that Jkoper's got to be rooting for at this point.
And that's completely possible.
Yeah, I mean, there are a decent number of downstab blocks. The worst thing in GP is if you make a gamble to say, like, okay, I'm not going to get downstab. The problem is, not only are you not going to be able to get through GP if it turns out downstab is required, but if you're in GP and you see a downstab block and you can't do it, your reaction isn't, oh crap, I have to leave right away and go get downstab. Your reaction is, well, let me try every single other path that doesn't use downstab because I don't want to go out and leave, and it can lead to you full clearing and still not being able to get your progression anyway, and that's where you can really eat a lot of time.
Exactly, and Jkoper has picked up his glove.
Yeah, well, he's nowhere left to go, right? These palaces are the only thing left for him, and they are going to give him everything he needs to finish the seed.
That they are, and TA is just continuing through 5 again, working on getting back to that fairy block, just so that way he can hopefully encounter Guma at the end of this path.
But we're not recognizing this dead end. It's a tricky dead end to recognize. Okay, so TA back in this room. He couldn't get through before. Fairy spell gonna let him get through, eventually.
He's gonna take a death there, unfortunately. But that death, not too terribly bad. Just a quick refill on resources.
Yeah, fairy spell pretty cheap. He's got 3 casts.
Oh, Jkoper had
Yeah.
a phantom down input.
Yeah, thankfully that's just his first death, and so he shouldn't have too much problem figuring this out.
And TA has come to Guma's lair. He went for the Guma jackhammer, but unfortunately was not able to get it.
Making decent use of this fire life to get a couple of extra hits was enough to make him get the win instead of a loss, so very worth.
And Jkoper has made it to Rebo. TA placing his 5th gem, just has to go take out the horse, or not the horse, Karok. And then he can go attempt to find the bird and take out the Dark Link.
Gonna have very comfortable levels doing it too. 5, 6, 7 already. Might decide to try and take the next level, might just burn the gem. Either way, I know 5, 6, 7 is definitely a point that most runners are very comfortable at as far as GP is concerned. Yeah, he too getting confused by the same thing as Jkoper. You see that little bit of lava, you see it starts to go down, and then you're like, wait a second, that's the mountain.
Yeah, just walk face first into a mountain.
And it could have been trollier, right? We could have not been able to go through this volcano, but
it really could have been.
It's whether you can go through the volcano or not is technically 50-50, but it does suffer from a lot of survivorship bias in that seeds that it's not independently calculated, and seeds that do allow you to go through are much more likely to actually be completable than the seeds that don't. And so you do tend to see a lot more passages that go through the volcano than not.
Indeed, and TA, soon to be coming up on P4, knows that GP is sitting there just right in the center of the valley, or the volcano in this case.
Notably, Jkoper not dying to the Moblin. Does remember that it's there.
All right, P4. So it's going to be a long palace or a short palace? Looks like TA is going to start off going left here in 4.
Okay. That's a decision. He might. It definitely. He could think he's behind at this point. TA has checked a lot of stuff. Jkoper has checked everything, unfortunately.
Yeah, and right now Jkoper is the one that is a decent bit behind. TA definitely running this race right now.
Oh, and left was not the way. The left gamble not paying off. 3 or 4 rooms later, it's a dead end, and he's going to be going right.
At least it was a fairly quick dead end.
Yeah, it's not. The worst thing is where you like take a gamble at a left, and it's like 10 rooms, and then it loops back. And if you just went right, the boss was right there. It's. Oh, ooh, another glove block palace.
Yeah.
So, even if Jkoper had reflect, would not be able to have done this without going back for the glove.
Would have led to a slightly unfortunate situation, and there's the glove block for Jkoper. And
yeah,
he has
I
found
believe
his
that
way.
was required. I think he needs to go to the right up that elevator.
I believe you are correct. Alright, TA finding the item room and decides, I don't need it.
Yeah, I mean, he's got all the items he needs. He needs is to find the boss.
So the left gamble here at the bottom would have been the play to get to the boss. With another glove block.
Yeah. The seed really wanted you to do P3 while you were there.
No kidding there. Alright, up this elevator leads to another elevator shaft with a split that leads to a right.
Okay. So, a couple options available, but always take a right when you see one. No reason not to, and it turns out to be correct this time.
Hello, Karok. How are you doing? Alright, TA moved in just a bit, and with this being harder, Karok will stay on the opposite side of the screen from where you are standing, therefore making Karok pretty easy to kill.
Yeah, moving in a little bit is it makes him a little easier to hit, but it also gives you a little bit less time to react, so a little bit more risky of a strategy, but not actually any risk considering how many times he can cast Fire Life. It's only 2 bars, but it's only 10 magic, so he can make his way pretty easily, and he's going to be making his way into GP in just a second here.
At 667, looking pretty good on stats. Nailing these fairy feet.
Oh wow, that level was
that
attack
last
6. That was very nice.
Yeah, that was attack 6. So that definitely is going to make Thunderbird quite a bit easier for TA.
Yeah, when you're at 5, 6, 7, that next level can be. It could be anything. It could be any of the level ups just based on luck. So, but here TA goes 102.38.
We'll call it 102.40 just for simplicity's sake. And he is going to start off with a left here.
Yeah, I mean, it's taken him a long time to do this seed, given the previous seeds he was at or fairly close to sub-hour GP entries, one of them sub-50-minute GP entry. So he's got to feel like he's behind here. The problem is, with that logic, is that while it took TA a lot of time to do all this, it has taken Jkoper the maximum amount of time. He's unfortunately just 100% of the seed.
Yeah, and sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles.
But speaking of crumbling, there is some hope. TA will not be able to crumble any glove blocks beneath him on account of still not having downstab.
Yeah, that's that could be a bit of an issue for TA, but we'll find out whenever he runs across any of them, as he has found another split. And he's going to take the elevator up, and it's going to lead to another left, so he's just going to continue holding right for now.
Yeah, no one wants to go left. I mean, he wanted to go left, but he
Yeah,
doesn't
I was
want to
about
go.
to say.
He doesn't want to go left again. I wouldn't be going left if I were him, but
All right, he's going to take this elevator down just to get rid of the spawning Bagabagos for a brief moment.
yeah. You just want to check it, put your eyes on it, right? That
Yep.
could be Thunderbird. You don't know. It's not. He keeps going right.
I love seeing this room with a fairy because that tells me I don't have any enemies to worry about, and I know TA has taken a nice deep breath from that sigh of relief, if you will. But now for more Bagabagos.
Oh boy. There's 4 different versions of this bridge in vanilla, and one of them is kind. This is the worst one.
Absolutely, and
Here's a second one. This is the one with a single chicken.
yeah, this is the second worst one in my opinion.
Yeah, there's one that I think has ropes, and then there's one that has nothing.
And usually with that one that has ropes, that ends up being a king bot. And speaking of, not being able to downstab things,
Yep.
earlier,
We talked about this potentially being a thing that cost TA a bunch of time. He saw that downstab block. He's not thinking, oh man, I immediately have to leave and get downstab. He's thinking, let me try every other path in this GP. So he is going to end up clearing this. Fortunately for him, he is really far ahead.
yeah, if he weren't as far ahead, it would be a bit more of an issue. But with him being as far ahead as he currently is, it doesn't make this quite as detrimental.
Yeah, Jkoper had a time navigating through this P5, but he is on the right track. He does have downstab here, so going to be able to navigate this room no problem.
TA eating all of the hits from these birds. Does make it through this room. And
It's more birds.
Yep. The prize for making it through those birds is another bird. Oh. That's going to be interesting to get to, but he's just going to reset the room.
Yeah, that makes sense. Just it's like, what if this room didn't have a bird in it?
Exactly,
Well,
and Jkoper has made it to Guma.
What is with this palace? More birds.
Well, I mean, it is Thunderbird's palace, so it makes sense that it'd be loaded with birds.
Yeah, Jkoper just absolutely demolishing Guma.
Did he loop? He has looped!
Oop, it's a downstab requirement! That's what Jkoper is. Unless there's some way we forgot it. There's a lot of ways in GP. There's a lot of paths. It could not be a downstab requirement. But if this is a downstab requirement, this is what Jkoper needed. Just something horrible to happen to TA.
Yeah, if this is hard required downstab, this is excellent news for Jkoper.
So TA is finally trying the thing he had not tried up to this point. Well, I guess he had, because he looped around back to start. I was going to say going right. He had never taken this right at the start.
Yeah, he looped back to this right.
Yeah, but he hadn't, but I think he's been this way too. Like, we've seen this room.
He is taking the elevator here. I guarantee it.
Okay. He hadn't taken the elevator here. That makes sense. That's a path that he hasn't taken.
All right. Are we going to be rewarded with more birds? We are!
Hooray, birds! Meanwhile, Jkoper is back on the west to get his required spells, turn in all of his spell items.
Probably going to grab his child while going through.
Yep, he'll also have to do P1, but that's about 3 or 4 rooms long, if I remember correctly, so kind of nothing palace.
Yeah. To answer the question in chat, Downstab is all the way back on the west, so TA would have to go get Downstab, go back into Maze Island, to then go back into Death Mountain, to then make it back to the east, to then make it back here into the volcano to get into GP with Downstab.
There's a reason that he didn't go back to get Downstab. It absolutely would have sucked. Jkoper ended up getting it just because he routed a little bit differently, but yeah, good news though for TA. At the top of that elevator in that 4-way was an instance of that room he couldn't downstab through. Now, could be a different one. That might not be the same room, but odds are better than not that not actually a downstab here in GP.
All right, TA just continuing through this GP. Lack of downstab is pretty darn punishing, especially when you run across these spicy chickens like that and you cannot downstab them.
Yeah, thankfully he's got shield and fire life, so he can afford to take quite a number of hits.
He absolutely can. And here's Thunderbird for TA. So downstab right now not looking like it's required, though whether or not that will stay the case, we will find out after this.
Yeah, that previous downstab now confirmed to have just looped into the 4-way and not required. Still could be one after this. Unfortunately, though, there aren't a lot of rooms left in this palace.
Yeah, there's not much remaining at all, and TA having a really good T-Bird fight right now. One hit remains, and there's that final hit on T-Bird for TA. Now the question becomes, how much of GP remains until Dark Leak is lifted?
My bet is no rooms. Alright, I lose. There's at least one room.
Alright, TA continuing off to the right. Hey!
Hey, the key required
room. Yeah, you can't ferry through this room because there's a glove block on either side. Glove and key required. Whether it's the magic key or just a single key, and behind it is an elevator. And that's going to be a death for TA on this room, but it's okay as he has 1 life remaining.
Yeah, now he can just cast Fairy. Just be like, okay, goodbye. Be a little bit careful with his life, though. Gonna make more good use of Fire Life. Just keep himself healthy. Okay, so my guess of 0 rooms may have been a little bit premature. And, man, you know what this palace needed? More chickens.
Like I said, it's T-Bird's palace. All the chickens are going to be here. Good old emoji room. And behind emoji room, this is, what, the 3rd bridge room that we've seen in this palace?
Yes, that is the 3rd one. It's the flying enemy one that often you have to be careful with a king bot on.
Oh, this room is terrifying. TA immediately ferries.
Yeah, had his finger on the button for Fairy, expecting that.
And it's Dark Lake.
Yeah, and an unfortunate game 4.5 here for Jkoper is gonna almost certainly end with ta909 being our new NIT champion.
Indeed. Providing...
Technically possible to lose to Dark Lake, but with shielded life 7, not really.
And just like that, get your GGs out for our new NIT champion, ta909.
Yeah, this has been a really good series for him. Just playing smart, not making too many mistakes, and in some cases getting lucky. Right? This race absolutely could have been the other way if all of those Southern Overworld items were the good items and not the worthless items.
Exactly. I mean, this was definitely a seed that, like you just said, it could have gone either way, but in this case, once TA pulled that glove from 3, that was all that was needed.
Tia going to join us for an interview in just a bit. Jkoper here found a Rebo Shark. I didn't think we saw this one from TA's side. Always good to see.
Yeah, we didn't see Rebo Shark from TA's side because TA up A'd out of this room immediately.
Yeah, doesn't actually care about getting the item, but Jkoper just wanting to fight Rebo Shark and sees TA finishing in the room and has dunned or forfeited, but we should see Bolter runners here in a second. Speaking of that, ta909, how's it going?
Hello.
Congratulations, TA.
Thank you, Sonny. Thank you. I thought I was completely dead that seed, and I'm just tuning into the restream right now, and it looks like Jkoper was unfortunately not in GP yet.
Indeed. One moment, and we are joined by Jkoper as well. GG's, Jkoper.
GG. That was definitely a seed.
Yeah, GG, Jkoper.
Yeah, congrats. I guess, in a way it's nice that yesterday just didn't make a difference. So.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it was pretty close yesterday, so that could have gone either way, but, yeah, no Game 6, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's too bad. I'm sure the people would have loved that, but, yeah, I think biggest thing I might have helped here is going into 5 right away and not having to triple dip or getting the hints right away, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, one of the biggest stories for this seed on the difference between the two of you was that you didn't go into 3 when you got into Maze Island, Jkoper, where TA did, and TA pulled that glove out relatively quickly.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. I don't know. I figured I'd be coming back through probably, and the glove might just be easy to get in the east, and as well as the fact that we, didn't have downstab or anything, but I probably could have handled it. I had pretty decent levels by that point. So
Yeah, I got the glove out of P3 first go after doing 1, 2, and 6 on the west. I did not pull the kid out of 2, so found the glove and figured I was in go mode minus fairy, so I was really hoping that I wasn't kid blocking fairy. When I saw fairy in Darunia, I grabbed the hint and saw that Helmet Head guards the kid, I was not happy to see that at all, and so I started to scour the east a little bit for jump spell, because I figured it would be nice to get downstab, reflect, and thunder all from the west, then go into P2 for the kid, and then I wouldn't have to go back to the west ever again for downstab. But because I couldn't find jump, I ended up getting thunder, reflect, and skipping downstab, going to P2, getting the kid, and then doing all of that crap on the maze again. But yeah, P5 had a... It's kind of funny because I didn't realize it at first, but I guess you need either downstab or fairy to get through that room that was a few rooms before Guma. It's the first time I've ever tried to go through that room without either of those two, and I was like, I think I'm blocked here. I have to go get fairy or downstab here, so that was unfortunate.
Yeah. Logically, you could do that room with downstab or upstab, and also jump would allow you, like, you could block clip with jump. It's not in the logic, but it's a thing that you can do. But you didn't have any of those. And yeah, that room, it's the first time in a while I've seen that particular thing stick someone on that room.
Yeah, that was the last possible. Yeah, it was, obviously jump was probably on the other side of the volcano, I'm guessing. I think I got a pretty good exploration of the northern part of the east, so I did see a bush. Maybe that was Old Kasuda with jump, but yeah, none of that was accessible to me until I got the kid out of 2.
Yeah, when we saw that downstab in GP, we were saying, maybe this is Jkoper's chance to catch up, because going back to get downstab would have taken you a very long time. But it just didn't end up happening.
I was thinking about getting downstab, and I grabbed whatever the spell was out of Mido without having fairy or jump, either thunder or reflect, I can't remember which one. But I grabbed the spell out of Mido to give myself the optionality to skip downstab. I mean, I was thinking about just not going into Mido at all, getting the fairy spell, then going back to the west, and then you can grab the spell and downstab at the same time, and it's technically only one trip into Mido, but decided to grab the spell, and then I just gave myself the optionality to skip downstab, I guess. And as I was making my 5-minute trek through the maze and DM, and then back to Guma, I was thinking about whether I wanted to actually go back to the west and get downstab, but I assumed there was a decent chance I was behind if Jkoper had grabbed the kid first go, so I just decided to gamble on downstab. And yeah, as you said, there was a downstab block in GP. It looks like that shaft right before Thunderbird, or maybe Darklink, I don't remember. Before Thunderbird, yeah, it looks like I saw the other end of that downstab block on an elevator shaft. It could have been a duplicate, I don't know, but I was not happy to see that downstab block first go. I only had one direction left after that, so I was like, well, I'm just going to have to go the direction I know that I have access to, and if I have to go get downstab, I'm probably in trouble.
Yeah, that answered my question on what your thought process was with downstab. Jkoper, I imagine when you had picked up that glove in 3, you probably felt a little bit of frustration. And then you see TA finish, and just what was going through your mind when you did pick up that glove?
I guess it was mildly annoying. Does TA know that the child in 2 was glove blocked?
Oh no. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so
yeah,
you're probably not going to okay. I wasn't even thinking about that, but yeah, if I guess I wouldn't have felt as far behind if I knew that it was glove blocked, because you're probably not going to find the glove out of 3 and then go back to 2 to dig out the item. You're probably just going to continue your trek towards the east. Didn't realize that.
Yeah, because when you entered one of the rooms on 2 that was a split, it was the glove fairy block that you needed to have the child out of 2 in order to have fairy, so it then turned out to just be a hard glove block.
Very interesting. Yeah, I mean, at that point, I was kind of just autopiloting, and I was thinking about whether I wanted to pick up downstab or if I'm skipping it. That was what was really on my mind at that point. But yeah, I didn't actually realize that we had a hard glove block in town.
Damn. As far as skipping things goes, I got downstab. I kind of planned it out that way to go back there at the end, but I was definitely gonna skip fairy. Like, I was not gonna dig out the kid. So,
Oh, so you skipped fairy?
I mean, I'm still in P4 right now, finishing up.
I got it, but your plan was to skip fairy?
Right. I got downstab and upstab, and yeah, I think those are more common than fairy is. GP. Not that fairy is that rare, but you can usually get by without it majority of the time.
Yeah, since there are only, I think, 2 rooms total in GP that can show up that are a fairy block.
No, I think it's more than that, but not many more than that.
There's a couple variations on one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like there are 2, but it's probably because of those variations.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if TA got the item in 6 before finding the boss. Because, like, to me, doing the jump, 4-tile jump or whatever, was like 100% the play, and I kept failing it, so that cost me a lot of time.
I recall that room, yeah. I got the 4-tile jump first go. I saw a landing room, so I figured the drop was going to take me, the crumbled bridge landing room. I figured that the drop was going to... Okay, yep, that's what I suspected. So I ended up... if it took me to the crumbled bridge that I had already been into, then I full cleared P6. I did pretty much everything except the left at start that brought you to the raft, and then I also didn't do the left that ended up bringing you to Barba. Those were my only 2 directions left. So I cleared everything but that. Then I up-A'd back to start, found the raft, and figured after finding the path to Barba, I figured that it's unlikely you're going to miss this raft because it was I believe it was 2 lefts, maybe. It was a left at one shaft, and then there was another shaft, and you had to take a left there as well. I could be wrong on that, but I concluded that it's unlikely you're going to miss the item, so I didn't feel like I had much of an advantage finding that raft once I realized it brought me to the maze. That's at least what I was thinking.
I mean, we had to get the raft. There wasn't any advantage.
Totally. But I guess, like, what I'm saying is, because of the location, like, conceivably you could have dug 2, or maybe you go through the other, maybe you go through Saria, let's say, to look for a connector cave, because I saw a little patch of the overworld up there. I guess conceivably what I'm saying is you're probably not going to miss the raft if you're going into P6, so you're not going to be caught up doing other things like trying to dig P2 for the raft or looking, in other spots of the overworld for the continent connector.
I mean, I did all those things first. I went across Saria, and
Oh, wow, okay. Yeah, I never did that, so...
and I dug P2, confirmed that it was Glove Fairy block. So...
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I and I full cleared P6 just like you, except for the fact that I fell at least twice trying to make the jump.
Yeah, you fell twice attempting to make that jump.
Yeah, which it's not that hard for me. I do it sometimes casually, even just like doing speedruns of all keys. But I think just nerves or something make me
Well, it is.
get worse.
It is also finals, so I wouldn't be surprised if nerves had a role to play in this. But even still, you both played fantastically throughout this tournament. Just absolutely amazing play from both of you, and it says something making it to the finals of any tournament for that matter.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Sonny. Thank you. It was quite a road here. Obviously, I got knocked down in the first round of the upper bracket, but yeah, I felt like the first few weeks of the tournament I had some nerves, and I dropped some games that I thought I perhaps could have won if I had just played a little better. But I think towards the end of the tournament, I really have been improving my gameplay, and it's the consistency is showing up in the results, I guess.
It absolutely is. Elendar, I'm out of stuff to ask if you've got anything.
No, I mean this was a really good series, and just congratulations again to TA. Contact Patrick for your trophy. I think he's doing trophies again, but I'm sure he'll get with you. And yeah, as look forward to both of you coming back for the next one.
That's Rando. Yep.
Well, do we want to throw it to final thoughts before we hand it over to, I believe it's VXR that'll be doing our outro?
Yeah. Well, you want to go first, Jkoper?
Yeah, good game, and congrats again, TA. Thanks everyone for putting on the tournament and for putting on this restream in particular. And yeah, we'll see you guys over in Z2R, DWR and stuff. So you're on.
Yep, and likewise, thank you very much to all the tournament admins for putting on this tournament, and everyone that did behind-the-scenes work for this tournament as well, and all the participants for making this just for making this a great tournament and putting on a nice product for everyone in the community to watch. So thank you all very much, and have a good night.
Alright, while the Naburu Invitational Tournament may be over, the finals of the main tournament start tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, so stay tuned for that. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you in the future.